Coming in off the road, the Pistons are back in Detroit for this game. This is their first chance this season playing the Jazz. They took the loss in this East versus West matchup during the regular season last year, dropping both games.
And in their two matchups last season, they came up empty both times. Not really too shocking when you see how they fared overall.
Exactly. I mean, when you lose as much as they did last year, you'll get beat by teams that aren't playoff powers for sure.
And checking out Utah's opening lineup, Favors and Gobert, the shot-blocking duo inside. And it's Hayward, and it's Hood in at the 2 spot. Well, last season, the Pistons didn't reach the playoffs for the 6th consecutive season. They're making progress, but as we can all see, still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, you know, they were spoiled for a while there. How about going to the playoffs for 1996 to 2009? So it's been a rough stretch here of late, but you get the feeling that the building blocks are in place for another push.
Gobert, the screen. With the teardrop, and Hood with the nice bucket inside.
Oh, terrific way to finish that move there, going to the basket.
The Pistons have gone 1 of 3 for the field to start this one so far.
And I bet most people forget that the Pistons did make the playoffs for 8 straight years before this current drought. It's been a long rebuild process for them recently, but I think they're making progress and moving in the right direction.
That's good.
Boy, he picked him out brilliantly with that feed inside.
And in the first, a little over a minute and a half in. Favors with a screen on Jackson. Kicks to Favors. In the corner, it's Hayward. Gets an open look and hits.
And for the Pistons, they seem to have a direction and plan now that just wasn't the case before. It won't be easy to get back into the postseason, but I really feel like they are on the right path.
And Drummond kicks to Jackson. Here's Harris. It's good. The assist this time from Jackson. Harris has got his first 2 points. And for Detroit, they come in off a good outing against the Hawks in Atlanta.
And you know what? Exactly what had to be done in terms of winning on the road. Never allowed any momentum to build up against them. Kept the crowd out of the game. And for every punch they took, they had a counter.
I was very impressed, Greg, with the way they stood their ground, even when they were on their heels some, coming through those moments where they were backing up a bit. That's what it takes on the road. You got to show that kind of fortitude and resilience.
That shot by Caldwell Pope, no good. The Jazz have gone 2 for 4 from the field so far today. Favors with a screen on Jackson. Nato, guarded by Jackson. Favors with a screen on Jackson. Just 5 on the clock. Nato, and a great job.
Dire and commitment, and then you throw in the fact that he has the talent that can be built upon and improved. One big factor will be injuries. That's the big X factor that determines so many more careers than desire. Talent and commitment, you need to stay on the court.
And we got a close game here as we get back to the second quarter. And guys, what's your take on the Pistons so far?
Just the start they're looking for in this game. Solid offensively through the first.
Very crisp and sharp, not much stagnation at all on offense.
On the floor for Utah, getting going here in the second quarter. Trevor Booker is out there with Favors. Then it's Shelvin Mack. Then there's Trey Burke. And it's Burks in at the 3, the small forward. Offensive rebound. And a slam dunk by Favors.
And putting in the work on the boards, and it's paying off with chances like that.
And Gia, he does put in the work. You're right. It's why he's on the finishing end of one putback slam at
10 after the All-Star break. Another team that would have been in the playoffs if they were in the East.
Here's Mack. He's guarded by Meeks. Mack dishes to Booker. First shot, first basket.
But maximizes his minutes when he's on the floor.
It's Jackson with the drive. Tolliver for 3. That's good. And it's Jackson with the assist that time. Jackson's got 3 assists now in this one. Jazz trail by 7. Getting back to Shelvin Mack, he plays smart, values the basketball. Clark doesn't have tremendous vision, but stays composed and makes the solid play.
Yeah, very reliable rotational player for you as a combo guard. Bulls his way around the court. He can knock opponents off balance with that size, and he's a good shot maker, too.
Now here's Booker. Favors with the screen. Here's Mack. Cans it from downtown. Mack's got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game.
A lot of space right there to get that shot off.
Not a very good job of the defender getting over the top of that screen in that particular play.
And what a beautiful way to polish off that sequence. Just strong at attacking the rim.
That just puts a little more momentum on their side, don't you think?
Absolutely.
The defense got to tighten up now. I mean, you can't have the opposing point guard throwing down on you like that.
Favors with the screen, and Mack kicks to Burks. And the Jazz, another three.
You know, the defense was lax right there, and he's able to make them pay.
To the paint, here's Jackson. Takes the assist and lays it in. Picked out the pass nicely. Jackson's got 4 points now in the quarter. Here's Mack. He's guarded by Meeks. And Mack kicks to Booker. Favors with the screen. Dishes to Burke. Shoots off the screen. Second shot opportunity. That one's good. And the Piston lead is cut to just 3 points on the basket from Favors.
His hard work on the backboard really just has given them more opportunities to score.
Johnson kicks to Tolliver. Got it up. What a quarter now beginning. Both sides looking to pull away in the last half of the game.
Boy, I tell you, I thought the Jazz had a big year last season. Looked much tougher than before. A big part of that is how Coach Quinn Snyder helped the team grow. I mean, he looked like a perfect fit in his first year with the franchise.
Jackson and Caldwell Pope, the guards. Tobias Harris is out there with Marcus Morris. And it's Drummond in at the 5. That's the group starting the second half for Stan Van Gundy.
And very little fight put up by the defense as he made his way to the bucket for the jam.
They did seem to take the cautious approach, Greg, when it came to defending that one. You're right.
And guys, it's not the time for caution now. I mean, they've got to be aggressive and take some risk to see if they can cut that lead down.
Pistons leading by 8. You were mentioning the Jazz, and they grew last year under Coach Quinn Snyder in his first year. You know, Greg, he did the same thing with teams when he was a coach in the D-League.
That's a great point, Kevin. And beyond the growth that the Jazz showed, I think everyone in Utah was pleased with the style of play. I mean, Coach Snyder's got the team back to playing hard defense and really grinding out wins.
The Pistons shooting their first free throws tonight. The first trip to the stripe in this one. And both free throws good for Drummond. And guys, Andre Drummond has made quite an impression in the early stages of his career. Clark, you were just talking about that. Greg, I don't think anyone felt he would have such an impact this fast.
Yeah, I mean, he's already a mountain of a man among boys. I mean, it's hard to believe when you look at this guy out there. He's only 22 years old. They have yet to hit a shot, a real slow start here in the second half.
Here's Harris. Hits the three-point bomb. Harris has got 7 points in the game.
Boy, such outstanding patience and decision-making for them offensively. Karl Anthony Towns, and I think to myself, what are these people talking about?
And the Jazz making a change here. Exum's checked in, and we're just about a minute and a half into the third quarter of basketball. Passes it to Favors. They need this, and that comes off the...
But even then, there was this eerie feeling that some teams had made a huge mistake in passing on him, and that he does more than just put 2 points onto their lead. He does it with a little bit of flair.
He sure does. You're right. It's a dazzling move to the bucket for him.
I'll tell you what, he may not be the biggest man in the league, guys, but he more than makes up for that lack of size with amazing aerial skills.
This is a nice third quarter surge here. They've got it going right now.
And a perfect time to get hot, just as we get into the meat of the second half here.
Here's the teardrop. Favors can't get it to go.
The defense ready for him on that possession. They had to be, because he is so strong in the paint.
And there's the call on Andre Drummond. That is his first foul of the game. Jody Meeks, he's checked in for Jackson. Utah also making some changes. Booker comes in for Derek Favors. And it's Burks in for Rodney Hood. And Hayward with the stuff.
And, you know, that's an example of how many plays we have in a game for which there's no stat. A monster dunk coming off just a terrific pick play.
Greg, you're right. It really did work to perfection. Gave him all the room he needed for the flush.
Boy, that's a sound physical play. I mean, you can't be afraid to put a shoulder into somebody every once in a while. It's a contact sport, folks.
Now, here's Exum. He's guarded by Meeks. Gobert, the screen. Hayward goes in. Good. Hayward's got his third basket of the night right there.
Don't take your eyes off of him because he can make plays from multiple spots on the floor. Put the isolated cam on him.
Well, Pistons leading by 13. So on the floor for Utah. The forwards are Hayward and Favors.
Down, young fella.
That is a fierce two-hander.
Maximum force on that dunk.
Outside Favors. Gobert, the screen. Pass to Hayward from downtown. That's good.
And those are two teammates right there working in rhythm. One setting the screen and the other using it to get that separation.
Detroit's gone to three-point range 7 times tonight, knocked down 5 of them. And it's Drummond with the jam.
He's their go-to guy. When he shoots the ball like he has today, that's what the scoreboard usually looks like.
Nato, he's guarded by Meeks. Here's Gobert, and so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2.
In Detroit with a 32-50 record last season, they didn't have any help from the schedule. They had a total of 22 back-to-back series on the year, tied for most in the league.
Detroit making a switch here. Jackson's checked in, and Utah with a change here too. Hood's checked in.
Boy, did they ever make a mess out of that one. A terrible turnover.
And we've played through about a minute here in the fourth. Harris against Hayward. Gobert, the screen. It's tipped. Nice ball movement by Utah. And the basket good. And 11 points for Gordon Hayward.
Well, he certainly isn't the one to blame for them being in the hole. He's been on the money with his game.
Harris outside. 1:31 left in the fourth quarter. Caldwell Pope passes to Tolliver. A three-pointer off the mark. Jazz trail by 12. Nato guarded by Harris. A shot by Hayward, wide open, off the mark. Had a chance to trim it to single digits. Here's Caldwell Pope. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up, and 2 shots coming up.
And guys, you know, Cantavius Caldwell Pope, this guy screams potential at you. I mean, perfect size and length and speed for a 2.
In years 1 and 2, the same thing has been true in the pros.
Yeah, and he has everything going for him. I mean, excellent outside shot, tremendous defensive tools. He just needs to add some strength and stay in attack mode to reach the next level in his development.
Here's Hayward. The Jazz with another miss.
Major defensive lapse right there. I mean, he's not a player you can leave open for a jump shot. You've got to stay attached to him. They're lucky he couldn't punish them for it.
And that one's good.
Well, they're going to walk out of here with a win and send this crowd home happy.
Yeah, you know, it was a real solid performance for them in a lot of areas. I mean, they should be proud of their work tonight.
Nato guarded by Jackson. Favors with the screen. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Another miss by Utah.
And maybe, you know, he thinks he can shoot himself out of the cold spell, but I don't think that's the case. Maybe somebody want to tell him to ease up off the threes.
And Caldwell Pope gets the basket.
And they're not finished just yet. They're going to make sure about this win.
Yeah, not taking any chances, Greg. This is how you close a game out. Textbook.
Favors with a screen on Jackson. Over to the left wing. Here's Hood. And so it's the Pistons taking care of business here.
The 2K Sports postgame show.